Let us move on to the other topic, that API Hub. Okay, SAP API Hub. I think I'm not sure if you are already across this api.sap.com. This is the website that SAP has provided. So we have a lot of advantages about this API Business Hub, where SAP lists all its pre-delivered list of APIs. It can be a SOAP service, or it can be a OData service, or if it is, or it can be a CDSU also, I think. So all those things will be listed down in this particular SAP API Business Hub. So in the Business Hub, what all we need to do is we just need to pick up what is our product that we are using. Okay, if it is S4HANA Cloud, just pick up S4HANA Cloud. If it is a S4HANA, then choose the S4HANA. If it is BTP, choose the BTP, SuccessFactors, whatever. All the SaaS solutions are also listed down here: Concur, Fieldglass, and etc. So now if you look at this S4HANA, as this is the one which we have as a practice system and overview. If you see APIs, events, integrations, business process, workflow management. So these are all the subcategories or main categories that APIs can have. And whenever we search for something on this API Hub, we will be able to easily get the list of matching results from SAP delivered list. And if I click on APIs, if you see here, they all have been divided into packages and all APIs. So it displays all the APIs, SOAP APIs, how many SOAP APIs, OData v2, OData v4, and if there are REST APIs only, the REST APIs, everything will be displayed here. So if we are interested in specific terms like sales orders or business partner, business, if you type the word business and business area, consolidated business area, and business user, contract, and business user, if you see business partner here. So we see the business partner, which is a OData v2 API. Okay. And if we want to explore more on this particular business partner API, just click on this business partner, and it's gonna take us to the details of this API. And also we have flexibility to change between the versions. If you see at the right hand side, we have the version listed down here. So if you want to switch the versions to the different versions, we can switch to 2021 FPS 00. That is the initial shipment we are on at the moment. And here check schema view, and there is significant difference or usage for these API reference and schema views. And here we have the detailed documentation again about this business partner API. And in the API reference, if you see in this, API reference, and these are all the list of entity sets available, whatever the options or the CRUD methods, HTTP methods are implemented, they also listed down here. So email address, get entity set, fax number, home page, and if you see here, email address is the selected at the moment. Whatever the HTTP methods are implemented for this is get email address is implemented, post implemented, get specific. So this is get entity set. Basically, if we talk about, this is a get entity. The third next one, okay, let me minimize this one, and the third one, it is get entity with a specific key, and next one is patch, which is a update is implemented, delete also implemented here. And in this email address, so we have option to um, uh, option to include the BPC contact to address, and etc. All these are very much helpful in terms of exploring it. And if you click any one of these get entity, for example, and it will show us what are all options it supports. And if we specify some information, and we will be able to execute this one or simulate this one with our configured system. So let me log in into this one. Okay. So once we log in into the API Business Hub, I think we should be having. So yeah, so this API tryout is not available. So some of the APIs will have an option to try with our sandbox systems. If we have a sandbox configured in customer space, we will be easily able to try this API in the real time. So these are this is API reference and schema view. Let me go to the schema view here. So this is really the schema, like what are the fields available, and what is the type of this field, and what is the maximum length, and what is the title of this one, and etc. If you see, so email address is the first one, and it has these many fields, and included the all the relevant uh, type and metadata information. Email addresses for create, what do we need to use for create? If you see here, there are star icons, stars are displayed here, and these star represent that, okay, so this field is mandatory to pass when we create or trigger a post call from any of the application. Okay, so this is where I literally come and refer if we are working on any custom application. Sometimes we might need to read the information, or sometimes we might need to post the information based on the information that we captured from the user on our freestyle UI5 application. So this is really very much helpful. And if you see customer, if we want to get into the customer, so these are all the fields available in customer. And even if we want to have look at the navigation properties, so these are all the navigations that customer entity set is having. So if you even click on this one, it goes and displays all the information again here itself, and if it has any navigation properties, they also will be displayed here. And this is specifically and another advantage of this one is sometimes the list of fields available in this entity sets may not be available in this 2021 version, but they may be available in the future versions, 2022 version, for example. So how we get confirmation is, so whether that is coming as a functionality in the next upcoming upcoming versions and etc. So it's just simply just select this one and look at this entity sets if they are already included on this one. So likewise, we can straight away go ahead and check that one. And cloud SDK, this cloud SDK, I think I never tried this one, so maybe not sure about it. I don't want to give wrong information. That's fine. So if you go back to the overview here, so we have some additional information here. Let me see the API resource. Okay, API resources. So we will go to this business documentation little immediately after this. If you click on this attributes, API specification, and it has all the JSON, YAML, all these supports EDMX file. So sometimes how the CPI or other non-SAP technologies work. So they will be asking for EDMX files to connect to or communicate with any other system using API. So in case if the technology or system middleware wants to communicate with the SAP system using this pre-delivered API, then we can straight away come here and we can download this EDMX file, and we can share with those non-SAP or CPI consultants so that they will have an idea and they can easily import these EDMX files or JSON. Sometimes they use JSON as well. This is a kind of a metadata file. So once we download this one, it'll straight away gives them overview. Okay, so this is how the this API is working, and this is what the entity sets and all the information available on this particular API, so that they will be building their structures. So if you see, this is not in a good format, but what all it has is property, keys, vendor, etc. So everything it has edm.string, whatever the metadata we see, it has all those information. We do not need to go and download the metadata specifically from our system. Okay, and authentication methods, whatever the authentication methods. So we may not be understand what X509 and etc. So basic authentication is available, and X509 mechanism also available, and configuration details. And this is what the configuration URL where I was saying. So for this one, sandbox is not available. That is what the message we have got there. But production URL is going to be this one, and if you see, this is what is going to be our OData service that is available on our backend system, API underscore business underscore partner. This is the OData service. Okay, so now if you look at this business documentation, if you click on this one, you will be straight away taken into the specific version, whatever the version that we have chosen there. It takes us to the same version of the documentation, and here it will give us a fabulous information, whatever the level it needs to. So these are all the entity names that are available on that one, and it will even specifies what all the HTTP methods it allows the particular entity set allows. So it allows create, read, update, delete all the HTTP methods. And if you scroll down, if you see here, this business partner is the entity, and it doesn't allow to delete. Okay, so create, read, and update, only these three HTTP methods are allowed on this business partner. So likewise, so if we are trying for something, and if that is not working out, then I think this is the better place to come back and see, okay, whether that is not allowed or not. We can even share this feasibility or the information, whatever we find out as a not feasible solution using this one. And this is what is going to be our evidence to showcase or show it to the business or the customer as a reasoning. Okay, so and even we have a lot of documentation available here. So not all the customers might be using all the entity sets, but some of the entity sets are purely definitely relevant for all the customers, like having a customer, the business partner can be customer or contact, having bank information or company code information and etc. So this is very much useful actually. So even, okay, let me go into the business partner entity, for example. Where is this one? Yeah, business partner, and this is the main entity, and this is the entity set name, technical name of it. If you go into your API, you will find this A underscore business partner. Let me get into this one. So I think we have already registered our OData service API business partner. API underscore business partner. Yes. So here we have registered this service already in our system. Let me launch it in the gateway client. Okay. So if you look at these entity sets, so you will see all this entire list of entity sets that we have seen in this documentation. Okay, let's wait, it is taking a little time, I guess. And in this one, you will see the whatever is mandatory or optional and etc. Okay, so all these are all the attributes that are available or properties available in that business partner entity set. Okay, so by coming here, we can have a look. Okay, so whether it has the information or not, then we can straight away go ahead and confirm, or we can try to implement. If it says it is possible, then yes, it is possible, and you can straight away go ahead and look for any alternate ways of implementing it. If you go into the create business partner, API business partner, sample URL, everything, and it has supported entities create with a deep payload. So these are the ones, these are the entity set that allow a deep create, and rest of the entity set doesn't allow deep create. Even that information has been populated here. So this is what the sample code, if you want to trigger any of the information. Okay, so there is a sample code also available, how you want to, how you should trigger this as a post call. Okay, this is how you should be preparing your payload, as we already know how we should prepare the payload while we calling a or triggering any post call using gateway client. So keeping that in mind, so it is same way that we are going to use all these APIs available, or whatever the API, not only for SAP delivered APIs, whatever the API, if you want to make a call, so we will be having a payload. So this is what is the payload. Even we have that examples how you want to trigger your API post calls, including the payroll, and also which includes the navigation properties. If you see here, this is a navigation property, which is again an array type here. Multiple entries are being passed, and multiple navigation properties as well. Okay, so this is a very valuable site, and valuable information will be available on this particular one. Okay, so okay, so if you see all these are all the entity sets that we are seeing on the documentation itself. So we do not really need to come here and pick up the entity set and getting the metadata or reading the data and looking at the format or the properties and etc. We do not really need to do that. If it is a pre-delivered SAP delivered API, then we have this API Business Hub to come here and look for the APIs. Okay, so that is what in the business documentation, and this is not only for business partner. We can, sorry, where is this one? Not this one. Okay, api.sap.com. api.sap.com. Let's choose the product, S4HANA product, and look for the APIs and search for sales documents, for example. So S4HANA, we don't have the sales documents. Maybe name is not okay. So here, if you see, there is a count actually. So I'm missing that. In S4HANA, we have 630 APIs matching to that criteria. If you click on this S4HANA, we will see all the list that are matching to my criteria here. Okay, sales document. So sales document with a credit block, and these are all the standard free pre-delivered application, sorry, APIs. If you see, if it is a SOAP API, we have the SOAP API mentioned on this API type. So here we have OData v2, and if it is a outbound delivery, outbound or whatever, so it's straight away mentioned in that particular one. So I can't go deep on this SOAP APIs. So I do not have a hands-on experience on that one, on this particular SOAP APIs, but it is same approach that how we look at our OData APIs. So it also has the technical or the documentation. We can straight away go ahead and utilize these SOAP APIs if we are communicating between the systems. Okay, so for this one, I think we will be launching SOA manager, and in the SOA manager, we will be doing some configurations. So based on that, we will be configuring this technical name. Using this technical name, we will be configuring some settings. Based on that, the communication will happen, I guess. Okay, so API Hub, don't forget it. And if your customer has the sandbox access, and they can straight away configure the sandbox onto this API Hub, and they will be able to communicate between this. And there is another API management here. So as a service, let me go ahead and find it out. So yeah, so this is API Business Hub, API Management, API Portal, and these two are a little different. And in this one, API Management, API Portal is going to be a customer specific. So whereas we say customer specific, customer will be provided with an access that a customer can maintain or register their own APIs in this API Management, API Portal, and so that the other non-SAP applications or whatever, they can easily come and consume these services. These services are not going to be published as a global global APIs that other customers can use or something like that. It's not that concept, but API Business Hub is perfectly for the pre-delivered content by SAP. So if someone wants to, I think this may be an assumption. So if someone wants to develop a specific API and need to deliver as a global service, then obviously they have to be SAP partners, and so that they will be able to deliver that service through API Hub. So that is far away for us, but I don't want to get into there. So in your customer space, if you hear something about API Hub and things like that, so this API Hub, mainly whoever works on CPI, they will be having more knowledge, whereas they will be communicating with API Hub if at all they want to go out or come in, and etc. So this is what about the API Hub. So this is bit interesting and important as well. So we'll get more information. So whatever the pre-delivered APIs, whether there is an API available delivered by SAP for this functionality and etc. If we want to do some research and come to a conclusion where we want to develop a new bespoke API for this business requirement, or we can use parts of the existing API and we develop custom API for remaining part and etc. So that decision, this will drive that decision effectively. So if we want to take such decision, then we come here, look at the API, available API, what is the functionality you are going to perform, whether you want to do it a post functionality and read both. The standard API is supporting only read functionality. If you want to make it in post functionality as well, use this read for your use this API for your read functionality, and implement or create a new API for your post scenario. So that's how it will be driving through. Okay, so thank you for this API Hub.